And I always tell people, the worst thing that ever happened to South Africa, was the introduction of, the Black economic empowerment.
Has Black economic empowerment been a success? I posed this question to Lovemore Ndou, a former boxing champion turned lawyer now living in Australia. He and I had a conversation on my podcast, Solutions with David Ansara, and what follows is a short clip from this discussion. If you would like to watch the full interview with Lovemore, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description below. Enjoy. Okay, and you went on to win the IBF super lightweight title, the IBO welterweight title, as well as the WBF welterweight. So, and I
That's
think,
correct.
Yeah, and I mean, those are some incredible achievements. But in many ways, just reflecting on the book, as you were saying earlier as well, you may not have actually had those opportunities to have those big fights if you had stayed in South Africa. And
No, I don't think so. You look at it. You look at South Africa today. South Africa is full of talent. But it's always talent going to waste because they're never being provided with opportunities. And it's not just in sports. Just in everything else in general. African people are talented people. African people are hardworking people, but they are always denied the opportunity. Like for example, again, I'm going to bring the politics into it. You look at, and I always tell people, Africa in general, Africa is not a poor continent. Africa, is a very, very rich continent. Africa is full of natural resources. South Africa is not a poor country. South Africa is poor because South Africa has been poorly governed. South Africa is poor because, there is an unequal distribution of national resources. South Africa is poor because of corruption. And I always tell people, the worst thing that ever happened to South Africa, was the introduction of, the Black economic empowerment. Why do I say that? And don't get me wrong, the idea behind it, the intention behind it was great, but what happened at the end is that only those in power benefited from, BEE. It allowed them, to taste the lifestyle that they were not used to without having to work for it. Okay? Now, for them to maintain that lifestyle, what did they have to do? They had to steal from the poor. They had to steal from the public so they can continue to maintain their lifestyle. And that's where corruption started.
Enjoying this analysis? Click here to sign up for our 30-day free trial for more content from the CIA.
Okay? That's where self-enrichment started. So the ordinary citizens in South Africa are not benefiting from BEE. So again, and again, going back to what I said before, African people are hardworking people, but they just need to be provided with those opportunities. Again, going back to what I said earlier on, you could have all the talent in the world, but without an opportunity, you're going nowhere. People in South Africa are poor because they're not hardworking people. They are poor because they're not being provided with the opportunities to work. Okay, and for example, we've heard stories of so many tenders, that were given to other people, but nobody ever knew where the money went at the end. Corruption is an ongoing thing in South Africa. And unless anyone, offers people, some opportunities in South Africa, nothing's going to change. It's just going to continue the way it is. And what saddens me now, what really, really saddens, makes me angry, is to see what recently happened, with the Zuma thing. When Zuma got arrested because, he decided to defy a court order. And then, what started as a Zuma campaign, as a free Zuma campaign, then turned into looting and chaos, and, and just damaging, and just causing more, problems to the economy. The South African economy is already, in trouble as it is, and the COVID-19 pandemic, just made things worse. But the looting on top of that, just made things worse, for the country. Now, somebody might say, well, South Africans deserve, suffer after what they've done, but having grown up in South Africa, I can actually pretty much understand why people, reacted or acted the way they did. It had nothing to do with the Free Zuma campaign. As far as I'm concerned, that it all had to do with frustration. People are just frustrated, with the government, that has failed them, for over 27 years now. Okay. People are just frustrated, by leaders, that are treating them like, like they're idiots. People are just frustrated, by a government, that's all those in power are only concerned about self-enrichment. So I can see why people acted the way they did. Don't get me wrong. I don't condone, violence, looting, but I can understand why people, acted the way they did. And the only way to change this, look, it's clear from what's been happening, in South Africa that the ANC, no longer holds, for the future for South Africa. The ANC is a failed party. Part of the reason is because the ANC is a divided party. It's very, very divided. Abraham Lincoln once said, a house divided cannot stand, and that's exactly what's happening now. How can you expect a divided party like that, to run a country? And so, what does South Africa need to move forward? I always tell people, South Africa needs a new party. South Africa needs a new party, a party that will stand for the people, a party that will provide people, opportunities, a party that will deliver. The ANC is full of promises, but they never deliver. And it saddens me to see, all that work, that Mandela did, going down the drain.
Let's do this, New South Wales, because we're over this and this. This is our chance to play on. Keep the lights on. Keep her safe. Keep them safe. Got it? Get it. Let's do this. Let's get far from home. Really far. Enough of this. Let's get back to this. Let's protect our lives, our way of life. If we want all of this, book your vaccination at nsw.gov.au. Let's do this.
At Rawson Homes, we're committed to quality throughout. Better, so we can deliver you a better home.
Better.
Rawson Homes, let's build.
And I always tell people, the only reason people are still voting for the ANC today is because the ANC is the only party that allowed people to chase freedom, when they took over from the former racist regime. And the only other reason is because there's no other better party out there to vote for. Which is why I say, the people need a new party. They need a new party. If there's a new party that will provide people with opportunities, a new party that will stand for the people, I can tell you right now, the ANC, will be out the door.
And in the book, you made a couple of hints about potentially being interested in a political career yourself and maybe one day coming back to South Africa. I know you're very passionate about justice in your legal practice as well. Any thoughts on future Lovemore return to South Africa and to play a role here?
Look, I am definitely coming back on, and I am definitely going into politics. And I might just be the next, that person that will, introduce a new party in South Africa. And I might just be that person that might bring changes in South Africa. Look, I think South Africa needs educated leaders. The problem you're having at the moment is, you have unqualified people running the country. And that's why you're seeing the country falling apart. So you need educated people that know what they are doing, and yes, I am definitely coming back to South Africa, and I am definitely going to get into politics, and I would like to see a lot of changes in South Africa. For instance, I would like to see, young people getting educated. There should be a lot of, people should, the government should stop just talking about free education but not providing. If you talk about free education, then there should be free education. So that's one thing that I would like to, see change in South Africa. And then, and I always tell people, if you educate people, then chances are, people will be able to get jobs. And once people have jobs, you reduce crime. Look at the rate of, crime currently in South Africa. It's so bad. And the worst thing about it is, even those you trust, to protect you are the ones that are, committing crimes. So that needs to change. You look at issues like domestic violence, it's really bad in South Africa. People do it in the open. Okay, and I'm talking about even people in power. They do it in the open. I'm talking about people in the police force. They do it in the open. Look at it, the issue about rape. Children are getting raped every day. That needs to stop. The problem we have in South Africa is, the current leaders you have, they don't really listen to the people. You need someone that will go and talk to the people, listen to the people, listen to their problems, and then work on their problems. So yes, definitely, I am coming back to South Africa, and I might just be the person that might, bring changes in South Africa.
Thanks for watching this extract of Solutions with David Ansara. If you enjoyed this discussion and would like to watch the full interview with Lovemore, you can do so by clicking here, and I'd also be grateful if you could subscribe to my other channel that's linked over here. Please do also comment below and let us know your thoughts, and until next time, take care.